what you learned in school. Never mind what your parents told you, and disregard what your friends say. From now on, the only people you need to listen to are these guys. For the next several minutes, they'll take you on a journey through the political jungle. And when your journey is over and you're safe at home, they promise you'll be stronger, smarter, and just plain better. So buckle up, hang on to your ears, because your journey starts now.
Welcome to the Ed Out Show. I'm Nate.
I'm Brian. Thanks for listening. Got a good show tonight.
Well, we have a good show every night.
I really can't hear my...
my goodness, I'll turn it up. It's fine.
I can't hear myself.
Well, why don't you ask people if they care?
They don't. That's why I don't ask.
Good.
We're going to have Attorney Steven Dulan on later.
Yeah.
Talk about his lawsuit against the University of Michigan about their gun ordinances.
Ordinances?
Yep. Punishable by law.
What? They're criminal offenses?
Yes.
Wow.
You didn't know that?
Yeah, of course I knew that.
Oh, okay. Stop being that way then. Oh, you can't. Well, anyways, it's Thursday. It's March 23rd as the march goes marching on. 2018. We're in the Freedom Studios on the 15th floor of the Patriot Towers in Liberty City. Where at, Nate?
Brazil.
We are in Brazil. Carnival.
Don't.
Well, I can do that if
You're going to alienate our Brazilian base. We need to pander.
Are you
not
talking
alienate.
Are you talking about Fred?
Fred.
Okay.
Fred, our Brazilian listener.
Okay. I don't think he cares one way or the other. I think he loves us regardless.
That's true.
We have a lot to get through before we get to our guest. Did you want to talk about the Omnibus bill? I guess.
We can. Omnibus bill will pass and will be signed and will be like $1.3 trillion in spending for the next 6 months, which coincidentally means the next argument over a bill will be in October, which is very, very close to midterm election time, which means it's just being used as a
political
tactic for the election. Go figure.
I guess they're going to fully fund Planned Parenthood, fully funding sanctuary cities. No funding for the wall?
A little bit, like
Not
some barbed
much.
wire or
Not
something.
much.
They got their barbed wire.
Fix NICS, the NICS bill.
That's in there?
Yep. No national concealed carry reciprocity, which was part of the deal.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to allow the CDC to research gun violence.
You ever wonder why...
So I don't know why.
It's like a stopgap spending bill, so the government doesn't shut down tomorrow night, right? Friday night.
Right.
Why are things like fix NICS and whatnot in there?
Good question. I mean,
that's why it's called Omni.
Well, there's always omnibus bills that come around,
which mean everything.
I think if Obama was trying
I'm
to
doing
do
this
this,
magic hands that you did earlier. It was
you
great.
Can't see it. So,
but if you look for the YouTube video that may or may not come out, you will be able to see it. So check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/AdOutShow.
A bunch of other gun control crap because of the school shootings. Okay.
Today's the 22nd, not the 23rd, Brian.
22nd, I'm sorry. I knew that.
Here's the thing. So we do this show every week.
I can't look at a calendar.
We do this show every week.
Yeah, we do.
And we get tons and tons of comments.
Yeah.
But the one time that we get 30 comments in a row
when I get the date wrong?
is because you get the date wrong. So and that's fine.
Yeah.
I just think we need to really think about what's important to our listeners. The date is important.
Maybe so this day in history that I do?
They love it.
They love it. I knew it.
No, thank you for the correction. I mean, especially if you're messaging us to correct Brian.
Right.
Thank you.
Video came out showing Stephen Paddick, the Las Vegas shooter, on how he got all his guns and ammos and stuff up.
64 years old. I don't know how he did it.
I don't know how he could carry 87
It must have been a government conspiracy.
87 tons. Well, it was the FBI.
His girlfriend helped him, and the
yeah.
FBI and the CIA also.
And 87 tons of ammunition.
Chemtrails.
And the chemtrails. He did it exactly like you and I discussed he did it. He had a bellman help him with a bunch of luggage.
He put it in a suitcase, a bunch of suitcases, and put it on a cart.
Put it on a luggage cart, and the bellman took it up the employee's elevator even.
Well, that's normal. But,
yeah,
right.
so that's normal.
Yeah.
And then he did that over 3 days.
Yeah.
And it was over 20 bags
It
that he
was
brought
a,
into
it was
his
a
room.
lot of luggage.
And people will say, well, shouldn't you notice that? But when you see the video, you'll see that the lobby is huge. It's like an airport.
It's a Las Vegas hotel and casino.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
And nobody pays any
Plus,
attention.
he went. I mean, the one time he went at 3 a.m. and one
Yeah.
time a different time. And it's not like the same person's working
Right.
24/7 watching, going, "There's Stephen Paddick.
Steven's
There's
bringing
Stephen
in a lot
Paddick."
of luggage. I don't know what's up.
No, and he has a huge suite and then a room next to it in his girlfriend's name.
Yeah.
Obviously, he plans to spend some time there.
But it was odd because of those 3 days, he spent most of the nights at his own house, which was a mile to the northeast.
Right.
So it shows him gambling and eating and having a cocktail and
Chatting with the employees there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some of the floor managers came up and shook his hand, asked him how
Because
he
he
was
spends a
doing.
lot of money.
Yeah.
for sure.
So yeah, that's no big surprise.
It was like, I think it was the New York Times, right? Was it New York Times or whatever? But they we have exclusive surveillance video, which I assume other people have it also.
Well,
It's
now
probably
they
not
do.
exclusive. But they were like, you can see Stephen Paddick riding an elevator alone. Okay, like that's creepy and weird. I mean,
That was a headline because another part, the narrator said, "There's a bunch of people getting out of the elevator as Stephen Paddick walks in." Little did they know that just 20 hours later he would shoot a bunch of people.
I mean, the thing is, watching it, if you had watched it before the shooting, you wouldn't have thought anything of it. Watching it after, it has an eerie, sort of surreal feeling to it,
because
right?
you know that horrible things are going to happen.
Yeah.
It's like watching Kennedy 5 minutes before he's getting shot,
Right.
driving
Yeah.
the car.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Or, in the car.
Yep. He was driving the car?
He wasn't driving.
I knew.
It was magic
I
bullet.
knew there was more to it. Let's feed all the conspiracy.
Oh, boy. All right. So another school shooting in Maryland. The shooter was 17-year-old, shot 2 students that were taken to the hospital. Unfortunately, the female student died later that night.
Yeah.
And it looks, and I haven't checked real recently, but it looks like it was a personal, domestic. Well, they weren't living together, but it was a.
They had a prior relationship.
Yeah.
It was targeted.
Yeah, she was targeted.
I'm saying it was. I'm saying it looks like maybe it was targeted. I don't know that they've said.
And the guy that got shot just happened to be there, and started running away. He got shot in the leg, but she got shot obviously more critically.
Yeah.
And then a police officer was at the school and shot and killed the shooter. So
He didn't run outside and stand on the sidewalk?
whether the student was going to do any more killing is not clear.
Right. Yep.
We
Yeah,
don't
I was
know
gonna,
if he was going to kill himself after he did this. We don't know. But you don't double guess that, right? You
for
take,
sure.
you
I
take
mean,
the kid out.
Yeah, right.
shooter.
Absolutely the right move, but you need to be careful to say that this officer saved so many lives.
You can't
We
say
don't know that.
Yeah. He has the potential.
We don't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, potentially.
He
may have taken one more than than would have happened if it had just naturally ended, because the guy might have just thrown the gun down and turned himself in or something.
Oh, I
But
see. Yeah.
I think it's fine that he's dead. I don't feel bad about it.
Yeah. Well, I do. I mean, every person's
Yeah,
death
yeah,
that
yeah.
finishes me.
All right, well, go to his funeral.
It's in Maryland. I can't bring any guns.
It's not, I mean, life is precious, but not that precious.
Well, that's the other thing too. Is that Maryland has a law. You can't. No one under 21 can possess or buy a handgun, and he used a handgun. He didn't use a rifle. So obviously, he was illegally in possession of that handgun. I don't know where he got it or whose it was. Was
Right.
his parents or something? I don't know.
But the age limit didn't do any
Right.
good.
That's the other thing, and it won't, because if you're under 21 and you have a mindset to do something like this, you're going to find a way to do it.
Yep.
And we'll get to that when we talk about Austin. New Jersey suspends at least 2 kids. I heard up to 5, but suspends 2 kids who had gone to the shooting range with their parents or whatever over the weekend and posted pictures of them shooting on what, Nate? What social media did they post it on? Oh, you don't know, do you?
What? What do you... Oh.
The New Jersey suspensions.
Oh, gotcha. Snapchat.
Oh, so they were on just for a second, aren't they?
No. Well, potentially.
Oh, I thought those were on just for 10 minutes and they'd disappear.
That's a feature. Yeah.
Oh, you can have them stay there forever?
Sure. You could screenshot it.
Oh,
Other people could. They may have posted it somewhere else. I don't know. I just saw that they posted on Snapchat.
So they got suspended supposedly for 5 days because the school policy says, which is ridiculous and unconstitutional. I think they're going to get sued if they haven't already. It says that you will not be in possession of any weapons either in or off school grounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
How can they do that?
Because this was not on school grounds. They were at a range. They posted pictures of them and said, fun day at the range.
Yeah, and we've heard other stories.
Totally innocuous.
Where schools have given students grief, but I don't know that they've been suspended for 5 days. I saw a video of an angry parent at a school board meeting there, and he asked the attorney for the board, "This weekend, I'm taking my daughter out to the range, and she's going to be shooting a gun, and we're going to post them on social media. What are you going to do?" Well, every situation is different, and I can't go with hypotheticals, but we would investigate it if there was a complaint, and we'd look at the severity and all this kind of stuff and see if there was any illegal activity, and we could take action or not. And he goes, well, I know that it's going to make one person angry, and they're going to report it to you. What are you going to do? Well, again, it's a hypothetical situation. You know, he's talking like an attorney that we're going to have on later.
We love attorneys when they're on our show.
Municipal attorneys have given us headaches from time to time.
Well, none of them are good enough. It's just...
Woo, I like that. That's an inside joke. All right.
Not that inside, but...
Well, it's a little inside. So, you know, what's going to happen? Nothing's going to happen. They're going to get sued. They're going to have to change the policy. What parents do with their kids that's legal outside of school is their business, not the school's business.
Yeah.
I heard another case where a school took a cell phone away from a kid for 30 days. I mean, didn't give it back to him at the end of the day, kept it for 30 days. Kid gets in an accident, can't call anybody. Parents are furious because they said, you're stealing our property.
Did they not know?
Did not know what?
That the school had taken the phone?
Yeah, the parents did. They asked for the phone several times. They went down there and give it to me. They refused to.
Yeah, that kind of stuff really pisses me off when I hear that. Luckily, I haven't had to deal with it.
I mean, I get the no phone policy, and I get
whatever. Take it away if it's a distraction
during the day
for a little while, for sure, But man,
and you can do in school suspensions.
Okay, be careful.
Yeah,
that was for those of you that aren't watching. That was a Coke Zero bottle slamming into the mic stand.
Yeah, always a good effect.
Sounded a little bit like this.
There's not even any alcohol in this, so that's good. Anyway,
there's some Captain Morgan over there, and I have beer over here if you want some.
That Captain Morgan has stayed at that level for 8 months now. You won't even drink it.
It's a little sad, but a little good. So that's fine.
Speaking of school, did you hear that the Parkland school in Florida, where the shooting was a month or so ago, they're going to require now.
I did hear this.
Clear backpacks.
Yeah. So
because that works.
Here's the thing. I understand being on edge a little bit, being freaked out about the whole school shooting thing because you just had a school shooting. A clear backpack would not have stopped the shooter from going into the Parkland school and shooting up the place.
Yeah.
it wouldn't have done after he was shooting. The gun was outside of a bag and he was shooting. Nobody showed up to stop him. So you really think that he's going to stop because his backpack is transparent?
Well, here's the thing. I don't want to give away any ideas, but a kid that wants to get a handgun in, you cut out a book and you put the gun inside the book and you put it inside your clear backpack and
Maybe
it says
they'll
Biology
have
101 on it.
Yeah, or put it in your pocket.
Yeah.
You have to wear transparent clothes and
Penny,
transparent
put
books.
it in your pocket,
Yeah,
save it for a rainy day.
It's ridiculous. I don't know if it's true, but I heard that they were going to actually provide the backpacks.
I heard that too.
So you don't have to go buy one. They'll give you a clear. It says Walmart and it's plastic. And, 2 handles. It's ridiculous.
And a ball of string to make the back.
I got
straps.
you for the straps. Yeah. Because otherwise, it's not a backpack.
No, it's just a bag.
It's just a bag.
Yeah. Anybody can have a bag.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, let's see. Someone doesn't like Austin or didn't like Austin.
Yeah, this was weird. A whole bunch of bombings, right? In Austin and Arizona.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about the Austin, Texas one.
One? Several?
The Austin bombings incidents.
Right, and didn't one of his packages blow up in Arizona or San
I don't
Diego
know.
or
I had
something?
not heard that.
Yeah, I think that's how they really ended up catching him, at a FedEx facility when it was being processed.
I see. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I did, right. It blew up at the facility.
Yeah.
It was in Arizona, I heard.
Yeah, really? I hadn't heard that.
That's what I heard.
Weird.
Anyways.
You've been annoying the crap out of me today.
I know it. Ever since I walked in.
As soon as you walked in.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
because I had the reflectors with
You
me.
had the reflectors that aren't doing any good, and
Not
you left
much.
my door open. That made me angry.
Yeah. A couple of raccoons.
It's
came in.
fine.
So what?
It's fine. A couple of raccoons.
So, anyways, a couple people killed with this bomber. But it was, just yesterday or in the morning they got a lead and they followed somebody, the suspect, and there was a confrontation with police and he blew himself up. Right?
Yeah.
Is that what you heard?
Well, yeah, I don't know if we've heard yet if he was shot, if that's what killed him, or the explosion. Because I think both happened. I think the last I heard, like yesterday maybe, was they said he experienced significant trauma from the explosion, but they hadn't said whether it was gunshots or the explosion that killed him. Maybe both.
Yeah, so I guess I'm going to read what...
Because the cops did shoot him.
His car was spotted at a hotel in Round Rock, Texas.
It was a Red Roof Inn.
As officers waited for tactical units to arrive on the scene, the man began to drive away and later stopped on the side of the road. It was then that the SWAT officers approached the vehicle and the man detonated the bomb inside his car.
Yep.
Here it doesn't say they shot at him.
Oh, they did. And the chief or whatever said, look, the officers knew that this was their opportunity. They were stopping this guy, potentially future bombings, and they did the right thing.
Well, so we don't really know if he detonated the bomb himself or if
A bullet hit it?
It got detonated.
Well, yeah, I mean, more info. I haven't looked at it today, but right. Yeah.
A couple of officers were injured, I guess.
They said he had a room. Yeah. A couple were injured from the explosion.
Blast, yeah.
In his house, he had roommates, but he had a room that was locked. It sounds like that room had a fair amount of bomb-making materials, whatever that, I don't know, pressure cookers and
wire,
toothpaste, and
I always vision
chlorine,
lots of wire.
It's got to be
Red wire and a white wire and a green
Which one
wire.
do you cut?
I don't know. Cut them all. Well, that's not going to work. So,
Bombs aren't funny.
yeah, and they said that they were getting more sophisticated.
They did?
I remember reading that, yeah. Anyways, that hopefully is over. Now, what they're afraid of is that there's other packages out there that were sent.
They said they're pretty sure there's not.
Okay.
He recorded like a 25 minute
Video?
message. I don't know, a recording of some sort, video, audio, whatever. Like admitting to it, and
Well, isn't that convenient?
Explaining some problems he was dealing with sounded like maybe gave some sort of motive of issues in his
haven't heard
personal
about that.
life or whatever. Have you done any research on the topics that you've added?
No, not really.
Okay. Just like a week ago when this started happening, you posted a link to it.
Yeah,
and now
I
here
haven't
we
updated
are trying to piece it together.
Well, I got the
None
I got
of
the
this
damn
might be
date
true.
wrong, so
Hey,
that tells you something.
The bridge that fell in Florida. You remember that bridge?
No, I don't
The
hear
bridge
about
fell, and there were cracks. One of the engineers left a message on the Department of Transportation or somebody's answering machine saying, "Yeah, about the cracks. I think it's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm just letting you know there's some cracks, but we're okay. But we'll have to fix them at some point." So,
Well, they're going
That's
to
a
have to
bummer.
fix it now.
yeah. No, I mean, you have to be careful because just because there were cracks doesn't mean that those
Sure.
cracks were
The cause.
were related to it falling.
Right.
Maybe they might have been, but
Was this in Austin, and were there bombs involved in the bridge?
well, there was one in Arizona at a FedEx facility. I don't know if you heard that.
I didn't hear that.
Okay.
Really?
No, it's not true.
I wouldn't think it would be.
Let's move on.
I saw a very disturbing video. Did you watch that?
Yeah, I did, and I don't quite agree with your assessment
Oh,
of
my
it.
goodness.
I don't think people were cheering him as a hero.
I think they were.
A few people did because they didn't understand, but most people were like, hey.
Most people said, at least it was edited that way.
Right.
There was an impersonator who looked very much like Kim Jong-un. I mean, not quite as
Kim
heavy.
Jong-un.
Whatever his name is. And he was followed around with a man of Asian descent dressed in a military garb that looked like an escort or bodyguard.
Guard or whatever, yeah.
And he's just strolling the streets of Harlem, right? You know, and some people don't recognize him, but other people, they're like, oh, yeah, oh, hey, right on, man, hey, cool, man, hey, yeah, it's Kim, yeah, it's you, and people wanted pictures with him, and he went into a barbershop, and they asked about a haircut, and the assistant says, oh, yeah, he needs a bowl cut.
Did you see
it's funny.
Did you see the one peddler try to sell him cell phones?
No, yeah, no.
He's like, got cell phones.
Yeah.
We got cell phones. It's like,
we don't have those in North Korea.
they said, do you deliver? He said, no, I can't deliver. He said, oh, no, then.
Anyways, it's funny, but it's sad because it's amazing. Here's this brutal dictator that's responsible for killing not only lots of his own people, his own relatives, including his stepbrother and his uncle.
Yeah. Evil person.
And he's getting high fives and cheers from the crowds in Harlem.
I don't
Watch
think he was getting high fives and cheers
Yes, he
from
was.
most people.
Yeah.
Most people were surprised to see him, and they were like, hey, you're that Kim Jong guy. Let me take a picture.
There were far too many of them that didn't put a bullet in them.
Well, I mean,
it was Harlem. They're carrying.
Well, I thought about that. Like, this guy's going to get punched.
Yeah.
I mean, because
No, they all love him.
Yeah.
Because they don't understand what he is.
Right. I mean, it's not like
To them,
driving along and
to them, he's just a celebrity.
Right.
It's somebody we hear about on the news. It's a famous person. So I'm getting all
and
excited.
people get excited about famous people. It's like if you're driving along and you see a big bus,
You and I
Adam
know what that's
Kokesh
like.
on the like
exactly.
These type of people would just pull over and get a selfie.
And we get that all the time with us.
We do get that.
We walk
all
through
the
Harlem. Usually, hey honky, get out of here.
I've signed so many autographs. You have no idea.
I think they do. They've got an idea.
They do.
All right. Oh yeah. I want to say this was Minnesota.
I wanted to talk about texting and driving.
Oh, go ahead. That's your little crusade.
It's not a crusade.
No, it's your crusade.
No, look.
Listen, you're a dink about it.
Here's the thing. I'm not. No,
you are.
Am I? Because the same people that are saying we can't ban guns, just look at the data, are saying we need to ban cell phones in cars because it's killing everybody.
Right.
11 teens die every day from texting while driving.
And you should have a felony charge for doing it.
$10,000.
Yeah, take your car away.
The same conservatives that
libertarians
think about logic and data, libertarian socialists even. Again, and I've made this plea, I think, last year. I'm going to do it every year now.
Good. Until they have laws that ban phones in cars.
No, look, show me some
places do.
Show me data that shows that texting while driving really is a leading cause of
death of children.
Yes,
kids,
of anybody,
teens,
of anybody.
Yeah.
This thing's been passed around that's saying 11 teens die every day in crashes caused by texting while driving.
11. I thought.
No, well, I've seen two versions.
Okay.
11 deaths per day is more than the total number of distracted driving deaths. There aren't even 11 a day that die from
Well,
any sort of distracted driving,
Nate,
let alone
here's your
texting
problem
while driving.
You're yelling at memes on the internet, and you know how
I'm not yelling
accurate
at
those.
memes. I'm yelling at
People
our
that post
conservative
those-
friends,
Yeah.
our libertarian friends, our libertarian
wanna
socialist
create more laws.
friends that want to create laws because they think it will work. Do you want to know what I think has actually happened? I think banning texting while driving, like we have 10 years of data in Michigan that doesn't show that it's had a huge decrease in car crash fatalities for a lot of reasons. What it's done is it's taken people that would text up here while they can kind of see out the window because they have the phone on top of their steering wheel.
On their
now
lap.
they're afraid of getting pulled over, so they have it on their lap and
Looking
they're
down. So they made it worse.
Absolutely, I think it's been worse. Cell phones are more prevalent, so the data's you can't just look at data from 10 years ago to today because it's a completely different world.
That's the same thing with drunk drivers. When I before all those laws, I would have my beer right on the dashboard. So when I went to grab the beer and drink it, it was right there. But now I've got to search all over the side or between my lap.
Because
same thing.
Most drunk driving crashes are caused by the driver reaching for his beer,
Right.
Not by them being impaired and not being able to drive. Yeah, that's a little known fact. Look it up.
That's the same as what your argument just made. I think you're right.
It's not the same, but it's fine.
Listen, if I'm looking down at my lap texting and I'm looking down to grab my beer, that's exactly the same thing when I used to have it up on the dashboard.
Here's the thing. When you look at the data from like the National Traffic Safety Board or whatever that puts out the data that everybody uses, distracted driving includes changing the radio station, talking on your cell phone, eating, or talking to passengers in the vehicle with you. Those all make it into the distracted driving cases.
Does reaching down for a French fry that you dropped on the floorboard count?
Yes.
Oh.
And I think if you're reaching for your beer, that probably gets put in both categories, distracted and
drunk
driving.
Well, open container.
But look, talking to your passengers, I mean, it is distracted driving, but obviously that's inflating the data.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. That's all.
So
once a year, next year it's coming.
So essentially what you're saying is the data shows that every car crash is caused by a distracted driver, which you could almost say.
Well,
otherwise they wouldn't happen unless there was
mechanical issues.
Right,
yeah.
but those are rare.
And drunk driving, I think, gets its own category outside of distracted. Yep.
Because they're reaching for their beer. Damn it.
Yeah, hey, I'm just saying. It annoys me. If we're really trying to save lives, let's go after something that's taking more lives than texting and driving and school shootings.
Like swimming pools.
Yeah.
Ban swimming.
No, don't ban anything.
How about ban gravity?
Yes.
That's bad. All right, so do you want to just go into the trivia?
Oh, do I ever?
And let's do the history.
You're going to do that first?
Well, I'd like to do it after because it's really a tribute to our guest.
I was going to make a statement.
Sure, go ahead.
Before we get into it. Well, we'll do it. Yeah, do your thing and then I will.
You're going to do your statement before the break?
Yeah, but after you're done talking.
I'm never going to stop.
You'll stop.
Okay. So this trivia question is really easy. And it has to do with Sheldon Cooper's flags. It's a flag question. It's a state flag question. Which
fun with flags?
Fun with flags. Which American state flag is triangular with a dovetail, and they call it a burgee, although burgees are nautical flags.
Oh.
So which one is triangular? Which state?
Okay.
That's the question.
Yeah. All right.
I can do this day in history, but I think
thought you were.
I kind of want to do it with our guest listening because it's.
Are you saying he's not listening right now?
I'm saying he's not. He's in the green room and he's eating Cheetos and drinking a beer
with Steve.
We've
wondered what that smell is coming out of there.
That's not.
It's marijuana.
It's not incense. So I'll save this day in history. So we can go to a break if you'd like.
Okay. Well, no, I just wanted to. So this last Tuesday.
Oh.
I got to go to my parents' house and celebrate with my mother her 5 years.
Oh, that's right.
Of being cancer-free.
That's great.
5 years. That's like a huge milestone.
Yeah, that is.
Totally proud of her. It's been ridiculous.
She had a very aggressive not very successful type of cancer, and this is a
It
real
turned
big
out
thing.
very successful, yeah. So
Yeah.
6 years ago we learned about that, so very happy.
Yeah, I'm glad for you.
All right, we'll be right back.
Lock it in. And rip the knob off. Red State Talk Radio.
My Parents Open Carry, a pro-gun kids book from White Feather Press. 13-year-old Brenna and her parents spend their day in typical fashion. But what's not so typical is that Brenna's parents lawfully open carry handguns for self-defense. And the Strongs join a growing number of families who are standing up for their Second Amendment right and bringing gun ownership out of the closet. Order your copy of this unique kids book at myparentsopencarry.com.
It's a bumpy ride through the political jungle with Nate and Brian.
Believe me, if I started murdering people, there'd be none of you left.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 877-219-8770 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 877-219-8770 to take your call now. Call 877-219-8770. That's 877-219-8770. Again, 877-219-8770.
Whenever I'm feeling a little down under, I can always count on Nate and Brian for their interesting perspective on topics important to freedom and civil rights by listening to the At Odds Show. Nate and Brian cover important topics with insight, intelligence, and of course humor. I can always expect a laugh or two. So if you want to be informed and have a great time, give these guys a listen.
At odds.
The At Odds Show with the greatest political talk show hosts in history, Nate and Brian. And it's sad that they actually believe that. So give a listen because the delusional need love too.
Are you looking for some way cool t-shirts? Check out ChugDug.com. They have hundreds of crazy fun t-shirts like gun, patriotic, and you better believe zombie shirts. At ChugDug.com, you'll find quality shirts at a quality price. All shirts start at just $10 with free shipping over $50. Mention Radio 1 coupon code at checkout and grab a cool 10% off. That's ChugDug.com. T-shirts with attitude.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-755-9290. That's 800-755-9290. 800-755-9290.
Hi, I'm Brian.
And I'm Nate.
If you like the At Odds Show,
And we know you do.
why not order your very own At Odds t-shirt sizes small to 6XL in a cool black color?
So support our show. Check out the great prices at chugdug.com or head over to our website, atoddshow.com, and click the link.
And, unlike listening to our show, you won't be disappointed.
And welcome back to At Odds. I'm Nate. That's Brian.
Hi.
I didn't
That
listen.
was smooth.
I didn't listen to the question at all. We have guesses. I don't know if these are even reasonable answers to the question you asked.
Well, if it's a flag of any sort, that's good.
Oh, okay. It was names of
States.
states.
What state has a triangular state flag with a dovetail? Most of them are rectangular.
Which
They're
state?
all are.
So again, we got 56 unique answers.
Good.
So that covers most of the states.
I think so.
Maryland, Maine, California, Hawaii, Texas, Detroit. That's not a state.
Well, it's a neighbor of us in our home state of Michigan.
Ooh, Canada?
Yeah, it's a Canadian state flag is triangular.
All right.
No, it's Ohio.
Ohio, huh?
It's red, white, and blue. It looks like it would be on the side of an aircraft. It's got the beautiful target, and anyways, it's nice.
I thought their flag was just white background with a red circle.
No, it's Japan.
Oh.
Another state.
Our other neighbor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, the flag was designed in 1901, right? And Ohio went almost 100 years without having a state flag. That's all. 1902.
That's super interesting.
I know.
Fun with flags with Brian.
1983. Do you know what a Hummer is, Nate?
Yeah, I do.
All right. Do you know what the origins of the Hummer is?
Talking about, yes.
Okay. In 1983, the Pentagon awarded a contract of $1 billion for the best Hummer to the American General Corporation to develop 55 high-mobility, multi-purpose wheeled vehicles, HMMWV, nicknamed Humvee. And in 89, wait a minute, they were used in 89 for the invasion of Panama and Persian Gulf in the early 1990s. 92, a civilian version came out, weighed 10,000 pounds. Got less than 10 miles a gallon, just like my Suburban.
Yeah, no kidding.
And anyways, it goes on. They came up with smaller ones, and in, I don't know when it was, at some point recently in the last few years, GM sold, it was 2009 when they declared bankruptcy. GM sold the Hummer brand to the Chinese machinery company. So now the new Hummers are made in China.
Well, so were the old ones.
And our guest that's going to be on, I think, has a Hummer. And our guest is Steven Dulan. He's an attorney. He's handling the case of I think, Wong versus the University of Michigan. Is that right? No, that's the Ann Arbor guy. I don't know who's doing the U of M one.
Wade?
Wade, thank you. I guess pops up there, yeah. Wade versus U of M, sorry. Challenging their gun ordinance? Not really a policy, it's an ordinance.
It is.
And so Steve's been on a lot of talk shows all over the country talking about guns, and he's an attorney for the Michigan Coalition of Responsible Gun Owners. And on their board, we'd like to welcome Steven Dulan.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
I'm sure you are.
You told me to say that.
Mm-hmm.
That's true, we did.
We did say that, yeah. Speak kindly of us. So anyways, go ahead and give us the gist. Explain why U of M thinks they can regulate guns and why you guys think they can't. You're on.
Okay, yeah, fair question. They think they can because they do have the power to create ordinances. Their governing body is actually mentioned in the Michigan Constitution. So is the governing body of Michigan State University and Wayne State University. Those are the three constitutional universities in Michigan. And when you vote, every so often you get the opportunity to cast a vote for the Board of Trustees at MSU or the Board of Governors at Wayne State or the Board of Regents at University of Michigan. And so they basically consider themselves a fourth branch of government equal to the legislature and able to create their own laws. And it's the scope of that power that we're really arguing about, because the state of Michigan has a firearms preemption statute. And since the mid-'90s, it's very clear that local units of government may not make any law with regard to purchase, transfer, possession of firearms. There can be some regulation of discharge of firearms by lower government bodies in Michigan, but the whole idea of a preemption scheme is to have a standardized system across the state so that you don't have to guess whether you've stepped over some invisible line and may suddenly be committing a felony. There are states like that. Michigan used to be a state like that. They're generally called home rule states, but we've got a preemption statute in Michigan. So that the conflict that brings us to the Michigan Supreme Court is whether the preemption statute applies to the University of Michigan or whether they get to be their own little fiefdom, their own little. They actually use the word plenary authority in their legal filings. They claim to be apart from the rest of the state.
Well, now there's two things I'm understanding from the other the high school lawsuits. Is there's field preemption, and then there's the statutory preemption, and the statutory preemption doesn't list universities in there. It specifically defines local unit of governments, but the other lawyers are arguing field preemption, that we don't care about the statute. It's implied, and we have case law that says that the state governs the body of firearm regulations. They occupy that field.
Agreed. Yep, okay. And you've got the phrasing exactly right. Occupy the field is the language, even at the federal level, in the federal cases when we're talking about preemption. And that's exactly what we're arguing in the University of Michigan case also. So there's statutory and field, and we're actually arguing both.
Okay.
But they claim to be, in fact, our case is on hold. My client, Mr. Wade, sued the university, and I represented him in that case, and we're at the Supreme Court. But the Michigan Supreme Court has decided to do what's called holding the Wade case in abeyance pending the outcome of the school cases for Ann Arbor and Clio that you were talking about.
Okay. So if the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the gun rights groups and said that the state does occupy the field, would that help your case?
Yeah, it would. In fact, we found it to be so important that the MCRGO Foundation, which I also sit on the board of, filed what's called an amicus brief, which is a friend of the court, is what it's Latin for, basically supporting the two plaintiffs in the high school cases.
So that helps.
We hope. We were trying to help. That's exactly why we did it. In fact, we were the only amicus brief filed on that side. The other side had some, including one from the Brady campaign to take away all your guns, or whatever they're called.
Let me ask about the NRA. They jumped in and helped.
Not in this case.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was there any reason why they didn't want to do an amicus brief?
No, I literally don't know. I don't know if anyone asked them. I know I didn't. I don't know that they're even aware of the case as such.
Oh, I bet they are. I know them.
So I have no knowledge.
Yeah, I know the Michigan rep deals with Michigan Open Carry quite a bit, and I'm sure he's aware of all that.
So I know lawyers love to predict the outcomes of cases. How do you feel about the other two with the high schools?
I actually feel pretty good, but one thing I've learned about myself is my crystal ball is broken. So I just do the best I can every chance I get, and I really am bad at predicting outcomes. So I'm in wait and see mode right now, just like almost everybody else.
Well, we had Attorney Dean Greenblatt on last week, and he mentioned a couple of other outcomes besides an overruling or holding the lower courts, and that was to ship it back.
Remand,
court.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the other was something about I can't remember the term he used.
Conflict
panel
or something.
Yeah, conflict panel or something?
Convene a conflict panel, yeah. It turns out that in the high school cases, and we put this in our amicus brief too, I think Dean got it exactly right, the Court of Appeals basically violated their own procedural rule. The Court of Appeals certainly at least partly overruled a prior case of theirs,
right?
Which was the Capital Area District Library case. We call it CADL, C-A-D-L. And they are not supposed to do that, overrule themselves as a court without convening what's called a conflict panel, but they completely ignored that step. So, yeah, Dean's absolutely correct. That is certainly a possible outcome that could, an intervening step before probably going back up to the Supreme Court, that certainly could happen.
Yeah.
And would your case stay on hold, do you think, if that happened, and wait for that to go back through the appeals court again?
Yeah, probably. Since we're being held in abeyance now, I don't see that there would be enough resolution for the court to be comfortable hearing our case until all the issues are resolved with regard to preemption. And it really is about preserving field preemption from the cattle case. And if field preemption is upheld, that's going to go a long way towards supporting Mr. Wade's claim against the University of Michigan.
Yeah, what's the big preemption case that they're resting on? What's the name of that? Llewellyn?
Llewellyn, yeah, Llewellyn.
Yeah, and that was a pornography type case, I guess, in Detroit.
Yeah, and truthfully, the facts aren't so important as the fact that the court enunciated a rule which gives a 4-factor test that's to be considered when trying to decide whether the field has been occupied by the state regulations. And so there's this little laundry list of factors to consider, including the pervasiveness of the state regulation, the legislative intent, the plain language of the statute. These are all factors to consider. And so, we tried to support, in our amicus brief, we tried to support Dean and Jim, the two attorneys who are representing the two individuals in Clio and Ann Arbor, in terms of their arguments regarding field preemption under the Llewellyn factors. I'm afraid to go too deep into the weeds, I guess, because this is the part where the non-lawyers tune out, and a lot of the lawyers tune out.
They've heard it all before. It's boring.
That's just about everybody.
Yeah.
So how broad-reaching is Wade's case? I mean, is the outcome going to apply to those three
colleges?
Universities and all
community colleges?
Yeah.
Yeah, we think it will, because the other schools, I call them the directional universities, northern, eastern, western, central, the other state schools that certainly don't have the level of power that the U of M does under the Constitution, they would be forced to be brought into line. Then we'd still have the question of whether they could prohibit students and employees from carrying on their campuses during the course of study or the course of employment. That would still need to be resolved, even if if Mr. Wade wins against the University of Michigan. But as far as citizens on campus, they would all be jerked into line so that Michigan law would control.
Much like,
interestingly,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
We're going to go the same place, MSU.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, I believe it was July of 2009. MSU Board of Trustees voted to allow Michigan law to control. And to the best of our knowledge, there haven't been any negative incidents except for one fella who was charged with brandishing, and then that charge was later dismissed. So there have been no convictions in, 8.5 years-ish. I guess almost 8 years.
Yeah.
And almost 9 years. And it's a shining example, actually, of the fact that the predictions of blood in the streets that you can find in some of the U of M documents are patently untrue.
Right. And what they got to realize, when they talk about, you're allowing students to have guns. Well, you got to be 21 to get a concealed pistol license. And, most college students don't turn 21 until they're seniors or later. And a lot of students are much younger than that, and they're not going to have concealed pistol licenses anyways. So the student issue is not a problem. And the older students, they're older and hopefully more responsible. So,
Yeah, and what we know about, I did just a little bit of number crunching last week. what we know about concealed pistol licensees in Michigan is they are remarkably law-abiding when compared to the general population. In fact, based on 2016 numbers, my rough math came out to any given member of the general population is about 25 times more likely to commit a crime than a concealed pistol licensee.
Right. Well,
and we're not talking about violent or gun crimes only. It's the entire penal code.
Any crime. Yeah, it's impressive.
And we tend to be quite vetted. There's a lot of disqualifiers out there, and so you got to be pretty straight and narrow to get the pistol permit the concealed permit in Michigan, anyways. So I wanted to get back to the U of M again. So the thing is, it's a field preemption, and the state occupies that field. But U of M is saying, hey, we're equal to the state. We're like our own separate state. Is that fair?
They literally use the word plenary authority.
Right.
In fact, one of the questions when we were doing oral arguments at Court of Appeals, one of the judges on the panel asked the U of M lawyer, so you mean you guys could legalize murder?
Right.
Because that's really what plenary means. It means absolute, unchallenged authority.
Right. They could bring on capital punishment, and I suppose, well, in the state, there's constitutional issues. Like I say, they could legalize slavery on campus, but they already have grad students. Ha ha! Bam!
Oh, boy.
That was pretty
good one.
Yeah, thanks. We try to get one in every show. So they're saying. So what? How did they
say? We've got Article 1, Section 6 of the Michigan Constitution. That is the right to keep and bear arms provision in the Michigan Constitution, and it's much more clearly worded than the Second Amendment is. It literally says that you, as a Michigan resident, have a right to keep and bear, meaning carry, arms for defense of yourself.
Yeah.
And so the U of M disagrees. They want to ignore that completely.
All right, we got about a minute left. So anything you want to add? How about let's plug?
You're deciding what he gets to plug.
No, I'm saying does Michigan Coalition of Responsible Gun Owners, do they have a defense fund that people can donate to for the U of M?
We do. Yeah, it's actually the MCRGO Foundation, which is a 501c3, which means it's a charitable foundation, which means your contributions are tax deductible. So you can actually go on mcrgo.org and find the contact info for making a donation to the foundation, and we'll send you a receipt, and you can take the deduction on your taxes. And by law, we can only spend the money on education and litigation supporting the right to keep and bear arms.
How about you personally? Aren't you an author of or guides for the law school test? Don't you have books written out, study guides? Or not?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I could plug, I'll plug the McGraw-Hill ACT book that I'm right in the middle of revising right now for the new 2019 edition that should be out late summer.
Okay.
All right. Where do you find that?
I appreciate that.
Yeah. That's online, McGraw?
Yeah, McGraw-Hill. It's in every bookstore in the U.S., and you can find them on Amazon and other fine places where books are sold.
Okay. Anything else? How's your Hummer
That's
going?
all I can think of.
How's your Hummer driving?
My Hummer is in need of repair. It's at about 200,000 miles, and I'm still fiddling with it. So but it's still rolling. I'll put it that way. And by the way, the story you read earlier about the Hummer, it turned out that sale to the Chinese firm never was completed.
Oh.
So as far as I know, GM still owns the name, but they haven't built any since 2010.
Oh.
All right.
So what you're saying is the History Channel got that wrong. That's where I
think
usually
so.
got
I really do, because I was following it carefully. I've got one of the last Hummers. It's one of the last ones made, and I was really worried about my spare parts supply, which GM luckily is still supporting.
Well, that's good. All right. Well, we got to wrap her up. We want to thank you for being on the show. And again, you're welcome anytime you have a case that's interesting to our listeners. So let us know.
Or anytime,
Or
Steven.
anytime, actually. Yeah.
Jeez.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Take care.
Much appreciated. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, that was interesting. I learned a little bit about the U of M case.
Now, next week, what we'll do is we'll spend 20 minutes comparing the three attorneys that we've had on the show and picking a favorite.
Well, actually, we should have the attorneys for U of M.
Oh, let's do that. That would be great. You call them.
Oh, yeah. I'll use your number.
It was good. It's always fun.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, that's pretty much it.
Are we?
So, AdOddShow.com, Facebook.com/AdOddShow, YouTube.com/AdOddShow. I don't know if there's anything else.
I'm not going to say anything until you say.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.